It's San Diego Distillery. Jared and I are checking out what they've got going on.
This is straight off the stills.
We're diving into it already, huh?
Yeah, let's see.
Get you a little pour of this guy.
One thing I added to the distillery is a sourcing program. We make these barrels our own.
I think I finished mine before yours.
I'm just sipping.
And I'm the driver.
Yeah.
Would y'all like to join us for a barrel pick?
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's pick a barrel, y'all.
And now we're gonna be part of the barrel pick.
We all thank you for joining us here at the barrel pick. We're gonna be committing to a full barrel here. We've got 5 samples. What we're gonna do is taste all these blind. I'm not gonna tell you what type of whiskey it is. I'm not gonna tell you the age, the proof, nothing. This is entirely blind. I wanna know what you like and what you don't like. Basically, we're trying to find the one that tastes the best. I will tell you, all of them have been finished in maple syrup barrels. And this is gonna be the next release from our distillery. We've got a great crew here. I know we're gonna pick a killer barrel. We've got Jared and Chaz, who just done the tour with us for the first time. I believe this is both of their first barrel pick, if I'm not mistaken.
I've been on a few, actually, with LFG.
You've been on a
with
couple.
you.
I was there too. No, I'm not. This was my first.
So we do have one first timer.
Yeah.
Jared's first barrel pick. Chris is one of my best friends in San Diego. He helps us at the distillery. He makes his own whiskey, does his own bourbon, does his own beer. He's just great with flavor, and same thing with Adam. Adam over here, Chris and Adam, best friends. They've been a part of the distillery since before my time. Adam as well makes brandy, distills whiskey, makes beer. These guys they know their alcohol. Randy here is just a bourbon connoisseur. He's known in our underground bourbon world as just having one of the best collections and doing his own home blends that are just phenomenal and well sought after. He hosts dinners all the time at his house. He does special events. The first one I went to, Whiskey Magazine, they do a release. I don't even know if they do it anymore, but they used to do it. Four Roses 10 top accounts, each pick a barrel from a different recipe, and then they release it throughout the year. But Randy chased down all 10 of the bottles, and then he had a big dinner where we got to taste all 10 of the bottles. And that was the first time I met Randy. And actually met Trent. Only reason I knew about the distillery here and am now a partner in it was because of Randy introducing me to Trent that night.
There was also a very famous in the bourbon world bottle on that night that we all shared, and that was the Friday the 13th pick.
Best Four Roses ever.
I think it's the best bottle I've ever had.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. You'll have some of that stashed away somewhere?
I know it's long gone, but maybe had I known that night, I wouldn't have put it out for the whole crew to drink.
You know, actually thinking about it, met Adam on that night too.
Yes.
That was the first time I met Adam.
So pretty much everyone here at the table has had the best bottle except for Rusty, right?
We're gonna find it.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna find it.
Yeah, what we're doing here right now, we've got 5 separate samples. We start left to right, kind of keep them in order, really dig into it.
Awesome.
Cheers.
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 I think I smell maple.
I feel like maple is by far the best finishing for bourbon.
This one's got a really good balance of heat sweet going on. What's the proof? 110-ish or?
I don't know.
It's got a nice viscosity to it.
You definitely get some changes in flavor throughout.
I think I can smell the maple more than I can taste it. I get more of a kind of a charred, roasty caramel, which is what we all want in bourbon.
It's a little nutty.
Yep.
Really get the sweetness out of it, but without the maple flavor itself.
I'm on to number 2.
All right, number 2.
This one's even more maple on the nose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Much more.
This one smells like pancake syrup.
Yeah, literally pancake syrup.
Oh yeah.
Big difference.
Short stack, please.
It drinks a lot lighter.
Less.
Yeah, way lighter.
I thought it was the water I drank in between, but no, it finishes real quick.
I'm getting kind of like a citrus note.
Get the spice.
Yeah, there's some spice to it.
Yeah, I get that too.
Especially on the finish, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a rye. Or are these all bourbons?
They're all whiskeys. Some might be rye, some might be bourbons.
That rye spice.
I'm gonna call this a high rye bourbon based on that spice finish.
I think I'm on to 3.
Moving on to 3.
You guys are moving quick.
We are moving quick.
Gotta move quick and then come back through.
Yeah, definitely dig back in.
Not as much maple on the nose on this one.
Losing that spice on this one for me.
The mouth feels back. This time I'm not going to do the water in between because I think that may have hurt the mouthfeel on that number 3. I'm going to do my little push-pull method. I'm going to push back the one that was lacking mouthfeel, even though I like that little spice finish. This one I'm going to keep forward.
Randy's gonna do a horse race with his glasses over here.
This one's a nose in front of number 3 and a full length in front of number 2.
If anybody feels the need to add a little water to it, see if it changes up the palate for you at all, feel free. We got it on the table to do that.
I'm probably gonna add a drop or 2 to each on my second go around.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, is it the Amaro I had that spilled out of a glass onto my hand that I'm smelling in this one, or is that citrusy and licoricey on the nose?
Got that bitterness.
I'm
to
getting
it.
a little of it.
So
Like
it's,
citrus and
Yeah, this
licorice.
one's unique.
Yeah.
so you're all gonna agree with me. That's citrus and licorice on the nose.
Yeah, this one's the most different so far.
Okay, this has got to be a rye. Not a loser. I'm not saying it's a loser.
Right.
How's it doing in the race?
I'm still with like a slight like licorice absinthe flavor though on it that I'm not super crazy about.
There's a little astringency on the back end that I wanted to declare a fault, so I'm going to keep it back from the front row.
Could use a little bit more time, you think?
I don't know if that's the right spice, but yeah, some more aging.
I'm on the last already.
Oh shit. Yeah. Number 5. Where are you?
I was
been?
at.
Where you been? You're still over there on that
I'm
beat.
there, keep up.
Last one. Good stuff.
That's really good.
Another real spicy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Subtle and it kind of grows.
What do you think?
I think it's a little spicy on the finish. I think it was kind of subtle on the mouthfeel. A little bit velvety.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. There's not a loser in any one of these barrels. All these barrels are phenomenal, for real.
The only one I really set back was number 2. I'm not sure why, other than the mouthfeel.
I actually liked number 2. I was surprised he set it back.
Number 2 has great flavor, but I agree with Randy on the mouthfeel. It doesn't have that same viscosity as number 1 and number 3.
Especially pulling off number 1, yeah.
And number 5 for that matter. Yeah.
If you're not used to, barrel proof stuff day in and day out, I can see how it would be different.
Yeah, I'm definitely not day in and day out.
All right. Maybe that's the reason.
Hopefully everybody's well fed right now. That's one thing here at San Diego Distillery. When you come in and do a barrel pick with us, we're gonna feed you.
After the 2 ryes, the number 1 comes off. There's a little more heat on it now, going back, starting over again.
More pepperiness, definitely.
Tell you one beautiful thing about having this maple syrup finish. It's almost like a cocktail in the glass. Like you really don't have to do that much to it to turn into like a really phenomenal maple old fashioned.
I pushed 4 back and then 5 back, and then I keep bringing them forward until I go back to
Bring it
them.
back.
I like 5 quite a bit.
I'm liking the maple. I mean the
So
rye.
which one's winning the race? The ones towards me or towards you?
Towards me. If
Towards
they're winning,
you or
if
the
they're
winners?
winning, they're closer.
They're towards you.
I
Oh,
won't-
gotcha.
You always keep the better ones closer to yourself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm not kicking them out of bed like that.
I'm new on the whole horse race barrel pick to begin with, so
Number 3 really opens up with some water.
Yeah, I'm
Get
trying
more
that one out.
fruit and caramel on it.
I moved that forward.
it's tough with these. They're all pretty similar. I mean, the maple syrup definitely leaves its impact. You get that.
That color on number 5 is so dark. I like that.
Your horse racing method is starting to make sense now.
It is, right?
Getting
I'm
that
like,
now?
well, it would make more sense if I started lining them up.
So in 2016 at my house, I had a top Scotch guy, Andy Smith, at my house, and we drank through a vertical of Weller at the time, so 05 through 16. And we went
William
back.
Lurywell, right?
Yeah,
Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Correct.
Highly sought after allocated bottle.
yeah, and we were gonna rank them for their LA Whiskey Society rankings and tasting.
All grades and everything. Oh yeah.
Grade them all. And me and my buddy, who we thought we were pretty good, bourbon tasters, after about the 3rd time back and forth, we were like, crap, these all taste the same. And Andy I got to give him props. He was willing to pick out some tasty notes, and as we tasted them with him, again, mentioning his tasty notes, you could taste it. Great palate, really good palate. But that's the problem with tasting a lot of the same thing in the same tasting. You know, you're not picking barrels from one part of the rick house, another part of the rick house, another distillation run. You know, these are all the same basically, right?
Pretty much.
So it's really hard to find a flaw, you know, or a difference.
Adam, for you, which two so far are your favorites?
See, I got to go back to number 5 right now because it's real close between number 1 and number 5 here.
1 and 5? Chris, what are you thinking?
5 and 4 really hit to me.
Between 5 and number 1.
All right, now let's go to the old whiskey pros over here at the end of the table.
That's right. Hold on, let me test this palate.
I know it's your all's first sips today. Y'all haven't had anything else earlier.
Our palate's not burnt at all.
Totally fresh.
Totally fresh. You know, they're all interesting in their own way. They are very similar. There is a little bit of distinctiveness between them. I mean, 5 does stand out. 1, I'm gonna have to try one more time.
What do you think, Mr. Pete?
Well, if I'm gonna trust this horse race technique and I didn't mess it up, then like 4 or 5 are my 2 favorite here.
For me, I was 1, 4, and 5 for sure. Those I still can't decide between those 3, but hearing a lot of 1s and 5s going around. Did hear a couple 4s. So let's get rid of the 2 and 3.
Clearing it there.
We're clearing it clear.
Oh, shoot.
And we'll take 2 and 3 out of the way. If you've drained one of them, typically that's the one you like the best because that's the one you drank the most out of.
Yeah.
Which one have you drank the most of? So you've had the most of one. So
Yeah, but I keep trying to like figure if it can compete with the massive flavor per drop of the high rye
that you think is high rye.
that I think is high rye.
Yeah.
I think I took the most from 1, but that was just to go back to compare.
Same.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
That's what you say. But that's what y'all say, but
Keep
It's our
going back to
subconscious
it.
speaking for it.
yeah.
Now, I love number 1, but as I add more water to it, it starts to fall apart a little bit more too.
See, I
than
haven't
the
had
other
it
ones.
anymore.
5 takes water like a champ.
Look, now my number 5's low. What are you gonna say?
But you just refilled the number 1.
Yeah.
That did totally change them out. Just a little bit of water.
Number 1 does fall apart. I think you're right after a little bit of water.
So the difference between 5 and 4. What do you guys think? I know what I think.
Let's
I
hear
have
it.
strong thoughts on number 4. I'm not actually a huge fan of number 4 because of that licorice note that's on it.
I kind of like the licorice note.
Oh, it's definitely interesting. I just can't do it myself.
Anise is the proper descriptor.
Denise.
Anise.
Anise.
It's the plant they make licorice from.
Uh-huh.
Not the star when it comes to bourbon for me.
I'm down to 1 and 5.
My favorite one, I can go ahead and go first, would be the number 5, and I think it's a rye.
He thinks it's a rye.
I think this is like Angel's Envy aged in a maple bourbon barrel at cask strength.
Which sounds phenomenal.
It's yeah. I'm digging it.
For the finish on number 5, I love it. It lingers. It's got a little bit of spice. Got a nice mid palate.
So 1 or 5?
5.
5.
5.
I'm going to go with 5.
Almost a curveball. I'm on 5 too. I keep going back trying to like one more, but I think 5's the winner. To hear everybody else choose the same one, you rarely have that. You usually got a couple people going after one, and you might have people liking totally different ones. I think when all of us come to that much of a conclusion that we like 5 the best, you got to go with 5.
I don't really feel like there was peer pressure involved.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a blend of all of them together. 5 kind of had the best of each.
I think it needs that rye backbone to come up to par with the sweetness of the maple.
Just to be 100% certain though, which one is 5?
So 6-12.
Thank you.
Ryes or bourbons or just leave
I don't even know yet.
Oh, you don't know?
I can tell you, we could figure it out after.
Well, yeah, let's not announce we were all wrong.
612 was everybody's favorite. In just a quick glance at looking at it compared to the other ones, this is by far the darkest sample that we have here. And as they say, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. As we have just proved here today, this is actually a MGP rye whiskey finished in maple syrup. 2 of these today were ryes, 3 of them were bourbons. I'm a bourbon guy. I almost always am gonna pick a bourbon over a rye. Today I picked a rye over a bourbon. Y'all, I think we found a winner. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.